Hello and welcome to another video. I am going to tackle Christmas presents today, considering we've got 20 days until Christmas. Should probably get on that. And I'm gonna start with some presents that my mom has been asking me to make for years, and I have put it off because I'm a really good kid. Sorry, Mom. I'm going to be making a fur hat and muff. I made my first hat and muff a few years ago when I was in a Victorian caroling group. It's Minnesota, and we were singing outside, and I wanted to make sure that I had something that would help keep me warm. I've also worn it to the Renaissance Festival on the chilly mornings, like you do to look like a fancy lady. I'm also going to tackle making a matching scarf based on something that I have purchased from a store. That way all of the fur is matching between the hat, the muff, and the scarf, so that when my mom wears it, primarily with her Renaissance outfit, it'll look good, it'll be matchy, she'll be a very fancy lady. As a Vicomtesse, she deserves the fancy. Yeah, but I've been putting it off for so long because fur is just, well, great to work with. I'm using faux fur. I don't have a way to ethically source real fur, nor am I really interested in it. That would be really expensive. I don't have an interest in working with fur outside of the fake stuff, but I have the whole bolt of it over there. So I've got plenty of that to work with. Just need to do it. So wish me luck.
This break in sewing content is brought to you by my need to put up shelves and a curtain rod to hold my metals. As you can tell, the bulk of them are nerd related, which is great. It's how I live my life, nerd related. From about, here over to there are all medals I've earned from Potterhead Running Club or Hoovian Running Club, sorted by year. 2016, I skipped 2017, I got 2018, 2019, and then started putting up 2020. I've got some more medals to earn from there, and then it's capped off with some Disney virtual running medals. But most of these were virtual. There's like 3 medals over there that I did in person. Those are all too heavy to actually hang because I'm afraid that it's going to break the bar. And then just finally got some space to put up my stuff, so more of my own area. Still a work in progress to get this studio what I want it to be. But so this one's really cool. It's 4 medals, and then you put them into a plaque and it creates one image. So, each one for the house. Confession dial, which weighs approximately 3,000 pounds, and needs to live on the shelf because it's a hefty boy. But yeah, total happy nerd. As that ends 2020, I'm gonna have to get a new one. I'm gonna continue doing races in 2021, and that is the plan. Here I am sewing the long sides of the muff through all 3 layers of batting, fur, and then the velvet lining. And then I'm going to sew down the ribbon handle to the right side of the fur. Now you pin the right sides of the fur together to make that complete outside circle of the muff. Trim the excess and then pin the lining closed over that seam so that you have a solid muff. Next, I'm going to baste the batting to the top of the crown for the fur. And then carefully pin the band to the crown of the hat, making sure that the band is not at all pleated and keeping it nice and flat, so that when I'm sewing, I'm also not sewing in pleats. This fabric is, because it's fake fur, it's a little stretchy, which makes it a little problematic. So trying to have as much patience as possible. As you can see, I cut the band wider than I needed to, so I just futz with what that seam will need to be. And then carefully sew around the crown. Now you're going to do the same thing with the velvet lining for the hat. And then you're going to pin the lining, right side of the lining to the right side of the fur, I also pinned the crown of the hats together so that the bands were even, still around the edges, leaving a hole so you can turn it right side out. Sew up that hole that you had so you could turn it right side out. And then I also basted the top of the hat, basted the crown of the hat to itself through the lining to the top of the fur. In my original hat, I did not do this, and the lining will drop out of the hat. So I did this in hopes of keeping the lining in place. And then hand sew the lining of the muff in so that it is completed. I did whip stitching and I did some back stitches after I whipped it into place just to make sure it was super secure. So I'm just so excited to open this box. I'm not even taking off my coat after getting it from the mailbox. Gotta be smarter than the tape. Gotta be smarter than the tape. So, I came across Bernadette Banner's video of her making a pocket from Sostein's dumpster fire pocket. I don't have an embroidery machine, so I reached out to my friend who does and who makes these things, and I asked her to make me one. I bought her the pattern. Oh, it's so pretty. So now I get to make my own pocket. This 2020 dumpster fire pocket. Gosh. I'm already in love. Okay. That gets put aside to make later. And then I sent her so much fabric that I also commissioned another pocket. But this one I asked her to do in its entirety, make the whole thing. Look at it! Little dog. Oh, yes. This is everything I want in life. Okay. I'll show it off in all of its pocket glory, but look, it's got little amber eyes like my Estella. Oh, it's perfect. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Do I have a costume that requires this style of pocket right now? Not necessarily. Am I going anywhere that would require me to wear a costume that requires this style of pocket? No. Do I care? Also no. I'm stoked. 'Cause it's a puppy dog! Alright, I'm gonna stop now so I can just gush in private. So here we have our 2020 dumpster fire pocket embroidery done by my lovely friend Lindsay. And then for the back of the pocket, I wanted to make essentially a collage of the fabrics that I've used in various projects throughout the year. This might justify my almost hoarding level of scraps. I mean, this piece right here was essentially that size. That's unnecessary. Same with this. Totally unnecessary. So I'm going to stitch these down, and then I'm going to stitch ribbon artistically around each of these awkward pieces because that's what I want to do. And then we get to put this together, and I'm very excited about that.
I've been hand sewing on this pocket for days, and I'm frustrated and I want to quit. Part of what I'm doing in this video is challenging myself to do things that I am typically scared of when it comes to sewing, or projects that I've just been, or portions of projects that I dread. And I don't do a lot of hand sewing, and I definitely don't hand sew anything that's going to be visible. And trying to hand sew this pocket is frustrating. I started working on these things a week ago, and while the fur pieces are done, which is great, Mom's present is wrapped, this pocket is, I'm still putting the ribbon around the outside. Yeah. Hopefully I can get my act together and figure it out and find some bravery and tackle it again, but I think I've got to put it away for a while and start another project so that I can remember why I like sewing, and maybe watch some YouTube clips on hand sewing and maybe practice on some other things and come back to it. But boy, this is frustrating. This kind of sucks. Yeah, hope to see you soon.
Here I am cutting out the batting for the first scarf. I used an existing garment in my collection to create that pattern. I wish that I had been able to make one continuous piece of batting for the scarf, but it didn't fit, so I just whip stitched the two halves together. Here I am pinning the right side of the velvet to the right side of the fur with the batting on the wrong side of the fur. And then I sewed it all together, leaving a gap about the width of my hand, so I could turn it right side out when I was done. And then I trimmed the excess from the seams, making sure I don't cut too close so that the integrity of the seam is still there. This is just me checking it. Then turn it right side out. Once right side out, I whip stitched that hole closed, and it was done. I waited about a week to attempt this pocket again. I had changed up my stitch type and it went much better this time around. I sewed while Zooming with friends, which was really good distraction. Kept my mind off of the previous failure and just allowed me just to keep going sort of mindlessly. I also hand sewed while watching movies and getting puppy cuddles, always helpful. While I hand sewed the ribbon along the opening of the pocket and then the outside, I did machine stitch the waistband ribbon on. Really wanted to make sure that it was super secure at the top of the pocket, especially going through all of those layers of fabric. Then I carefully seam ripped the blue threads that were on the pocket when Lindsay sent it to me. I'm not sure if that was supposed to be the size of the pocket originally, but alas, I made it bigger, so I need to get rid of those markings. And here they are, the finished results. I'm so relieved to be done with this pocket. I'm happy I did it, and I will continue to challenge myself to hand sew more things in the future, but I am glad it's done. I'm really pleased with how the fur turned out, and I think Mom will really like her Christmas present. I did make a few additional muffs, and I'll link them into my Etsy shop below, as well as having the links for Pincushion Masquerade. She did the embroidery for my pocket, and Sosteen, who made the original embroidery design. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'm leaving 2020 behind me.